struggling with chaos, I have to tell you, if you think that your job's only going to consist of PLC programming, you're in for a big surprise. Let me share a few things with you. One of them is, if you're struggling with chaos, trying to get things done, you're going to see an example of that is when you're showing up, you're trying to focus on your job. The problem with that is there are other other teams, other groups, other companies that are trying to work in that same space, on that same machine, or in that same environment, the same building, that are going to be competing. They're going to be working together and sometimes against each other unintentionally in most cases. And you're going to sometime, at sooner or later, somebody's going to walk up and say, hey, I need you to take the lead on this. Or, hey, I need you to try and follow up and get some information on this and try and let me know what's going on so we can get this thing managed. That is when you realize that you have to make a mental shift. You cannot just focus on your PLC program. You have to actually pull back and you have to see the broader picture. The problem with that is you haven't been trained to do that, okay? And I'm going to share with you how to do that in a really simple, this is blue collar methodology. It really works. And it's strategy. That's the overall term that I want to share with you is you can do this. You can take a leadership role. You can prioritize. You can help organize using strategy. I'm going to give you a great tool to be able to do that with today. Okay, we're going to jump right in here. I'm going to share with you how to use a strategic tool. And let me give you an example of when this might come into play. You're sitting in a meeting, everybody's kind of back and forth, kind of disagreeing. There's a little bit of chaos, maybe even in little accusations, or you're wanting to do this, or you're not doing this. This is a great time to do nothing more than to raise your hand and say, hey, do you mind if I make a little list about what we're talking about? Most people are going to say yes. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our marker here, and we're going to make our line, and we're going to start making our list. These are all the things that have to happen. Everyone's going to tell you, right? You're going to make this list. We have our vertical line. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. Now we have to figure out when is all this stuff going to happen. Okay. This chart is known as a XY chart. I did this backwards. A X and Y chart, right? So we're making our list here, right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say, but now we need to break this down into times. And I like putting in my dividers. So let's assume this is a 30-day, a 60-day, and a 90-day, right? So these things have to happen in this amount of time, 30, 60, 90 days. Okay, so this one here, Alphabet Company, needs to have the wiring set in. And they need to do that sometime within that in the middle of that 30 days, 15 days, right? Then this company, B, C, D, E, F, G, right, for example. And it might be a programming. So now I have to do my part, and I need to have that done here within this 60 days. C is going to have they're done there. B is not going to come into place till down here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to see our chart take a view, right? It's going to give us a visualization of what has to happen and when they have to happen, right? And we're going to start seeing this visualization come through. Now you'll see that we have some where this does not look really smooth. We're actually going to be losing time between here and here. We're going to go back and lose some time. Or maybe these two items could be done at the exact same time. Or we can get them to begin doing it at the exact same time because we may need to do an FAT right here for whatever reason, right? They decide that they want to do an FAT. And over here is our SAT, right? So we need to smooth this out a little bit. So let's erase some of this. Let's look at how we can get the team to say, oh, well, this makes sense. We can, yeah, I can shift this, I can shift that, and we can make things a little bit more smoother. So let's get our A here, our B here, our C, our D, E, F, and G. And if we can get our team, and it's not really going to be this smooth, but if we can get our team to help us and start working with us to help prioritize and align what their tasks are, then we can build a chart that everyone has contributed to, sees and understands. And during this conversation, we're going to understand, why do I have to, why am I going to wait almost 60 days to get for the D, might be a HMI design. Who knows? Maybe we'll have we're waiting on a piece of hardware, but now everyone knows, right? We discussed that. So we say that this HMI is not going to be done until that period of time because of this reason. Now everyone knows why that is at that part of that chart, right? And we could actually make a little note down here as to what's going on and why we might have to have that there. Or if we do have the occasional situation where we do have a delay, right? We can move it back. Let's do this. And I've had this happen to me, right? So we have, generally what happens is you get way out here, right? So these things happen real good, but then we have this huge delay that's way down there. And generally we have to make a little note as to what's going on. And often we're waiting on something, some parts and components, some even sometimes licensing or an inspection, something that delays us. So this is a great tool, in my opinion. You need to learn how to do this. And I'll tell you this much, if you sit in front of your desk and you sit and look at all the things that are happening, you can have a conversation with each of the different parties that's contributing to the project you're working on. And you can build this all on your own so that you can start seeing how things are coming together. This is a powerful tool. I really think you guys should start using this, start trying to understand how you can employ this very tool. It's an XY chart. It really helps you with prioritizing and setting schedules and getting the team to get aligned. All right, well, this is Paul, and I will see you guys later. Cheers.